Ladies and gentlemen, now listen. I know some of y'all been sitting around wondering why this man acts all cold, distant, detached, like he don't care, like he outgrew the whole situation. You over there overthinking, blowing up your girl's phone, like, sis, I think he done. When a man is truly hooked, he might not come out and say it, but his actions will tell on him every time. You see, men are not always verbal about their emotions. They don't always come out swinging with, I miss you, or I think about you all the time. No, they play it cool. They act unbothered. They'll even try to act like you never matter. But ladies, don't be fooled. His actions will leak the truth. A man who's hooked will behave in ways that contradict what he says. He might say he needs space, but suddenly he's still liking your pictures. He may say y'all should move on, but he's still showing up in subtle ways through mutual friends, popping up on your timeline, dropping a how you been, text out of nowhere. Why? Because he's in conflict. His pride wants him to act one way, but his heart keeps pulling him another. He's trying to convince himself he's moved on, but everything he does screams he hasn't. That man is mentally checking in on you even when he ain't around physically. He's watching your glow up, and though he won't admit it, it bothers him because you weren't supposed to do just fine without him. He expected you to chase, to beg, to cry, but you didn't. And now he's the one up at night wondering if you think about him too. That's the part they don't talk about, that internal fight. He's hooked, but trying to play it cool. That's why he's hot one day, cold the next. He can't get you out of his head, and it's eating him up inside. A man hooked on a woman will show it without even realizing it, not through his words, but through the little things he can't stop doing. Distance is one of the oldest tricks in the book when it comes to emotions. See, when a man starts catching feelings that go a little too deep for his comfort, he'll often pull back, not because he doesn't care, but because he cares too much. It's backwards. I know. But that's how some men are wired. They've been taught that showing emotion is weakness, that needing someone is a risk, and that falling hard for a woman gives her power. So what does he do when he starts feeling that connection? He distances himself. He acts cold. He starts to respond late or not at all. He puts on that mask like nothing's bothering him. But deep down, oh, he's wrestling. That emotional pullback is his way of trying to regain control. He might even convince himself that he needs to figure things out or that it's too much right now. But really, what he's doing is running from what he feels. And the more he feels, the more distant he becomes. But don't confuse his silence for peace. That man is not calm. That man is in turmoil because everything in him is saying, don't fall, but everything about you keeps pulling him in. He wants to be cool, but he's not. He wants to forget you, but he can't. He tries to act unaffected, but every time your name pops up or your picture shows up, his heart skips a beat. This kind of distance is not detachment. It's protection. He's building walls to hide how hooked he really is. It's not about losing interest. It's about losing control. And when a man feels like he's not in control of his feelings, that's when he acts the most distant. But don't mistake that for indifference. That's emotional overload. A man who can't stop checking your socials is a man who's thinking about you way more than he wants to admit. He might not call, he might not text, he might be out here acting like he's unbothered, living his best life, But behind that calm surface, he's watching. He's lurking. Every time you post a new picture, update a story, or even just share a quote, he's there, tapping through like it's nothing, but his attention is glued to every detail. He's not just looking, he's analyzing. Who you with, where you at, are you smiling a little too hard? Are you glowing without him? That stuff gets to him. It stays on his mind. He might not like or comment, but that doesn't mean he didn't see it. It just means he don't want you to know he's watching, but he is, daily, consistently, quietly. Because when a man's truly hooked, distance doesn't mean detachment. It just means hidden attention. He doesn't want to open that door and let you see how much he's still invested, but his eyes betray him. Every store view is proof. Every online check-in is a silent confession. He's keeping tabs, staying in tune with your world because he's not really out of it. In fact, he's deep in it. Watching you thrive without him makes him question what he lost. It messes with his ego because part of him thought you'd crumble, or at least wait around, but you didn't. And now all he has is that screen, that digital window into your life. That's where he goes to feel close to you without reaching out. It's his way of staying connected without risking rejection. But make no mistake, if he's watching, he's thinking. And if he's thinking, you're still in his head. And if he's thinking, you're still in his head. When a man says he's busy but never truly moves on, that's one of the loudest signs that you're still living in his mind. He might tell you he has too much going on, that life's just hectic, that he doesn't have time for a relationship, but somehow he's still hovering. He's not building anything serious with anyone else. He's not investing deeply anywhere. He might be talking to people, entertaining distractions, but he's not committing. Why? Because his mind is still tied up with you. He may act like he's detached, but his actions show he hasn't let go. He's keeping you emotionally close while pretending to be far. You'll notice how he won't fully shut the door. He leaves the line open. A random check-in text, a birthday wish, and I saw this and thought of you message. That's not accidental. That's emotional breadcrumbing. He's trying to keep a piece of you close without doing the work to actually be with you. And even when you create space, he'll find subtle ways to sneak back into your atmosphere. Because even if he doesn't want to admit it, the thought of you moving on completely eats at him. So he keeps himself busy, sure, but not too busy to peek into your world. Not too busy to ask mutual friends how you're doing. Not too busy to scroll through your updates at 2 a.m. A man who is truly done doesn't linger like that. He doesn't leave the door half open. But when he's still got feelings, still playing it cool, still trying to figure out what went wrong, he won't be able to move on fully. You're a mental bookmark he keeps returning to. You're the thought he can't quite silence. Even when he pretends he's over it, emotional pullback is one of the most misunderstood behaviors in men, especially when they're falling harder than they expected. When a man feels vulnerable, when he starts realizing just how much a woman matters to him, panic often kicks in. Not because he doesn't want her, but because he's scared of what it means. Vulnerability to some men feels like losing control. It feels like being exposed, open to rejection, open to pain. So instead of leaning in, they pull back. He might start acting like he's not as into you anymore, like he's got other things going on, like his energy has shifted. But it hasn't shifted because he's lost interest. It's shifted because he's overwhelmed by how deeply he's starting to feel. Some men don't know how to sit with that kind of emotion. They weren't raised to express love, to talk about fear, or to admit when something is real and scary. So they retreat. They go quiet. They become inconsistent. And while you're sitting there wondering what went wrong, he's sitting there thinking, how did I get so deep into this? It's not that he doesn't care. He just doesn't know how to show it while trying to manage the fear that comes with it. That emotional tug of war becomes a cycle of hot and cold. 1 minute he's all in, the next he's nowhere to be found. But every pullback is his way of testing his own feelings. Every silent day is him trying to convince himself he's not affected, but he is. He's deeply affected. Because once a man starts feeling exposed emotionally, his instinct is to retreat and rebuild the walls he just let down. That's not disinterest. That's emotional self-protection from something that feels too real to handle comfortably. When a man goes quiet, when his words stop flowing, but his presence still lingers in subtle ways, that's when you know his silence is louder than anything he could ever say. He may stop texting, stop calling, stop checking in like he used to, but if you really pay attention, the quiet is filled with emotion. That silence isn't empty, it's full of thoughts, confusion, regret, and longing. A man doesn't just go silent when he's over you. He goes silent when he doesn't know what to do with the feelings you left behind. It's when he's struggling with what he wants versus what he fears. That silence is him battling with himself, trying to rationalize emotions he can't escape. He might not say a word, but he's still reacting. He's watching your moves from the sidelines. He's feeling something every time he sees your name or your face, and he's questioning whether walking away was a mistake. That's the thing. Real feelings don't just fade. They linger. They stay locked inside a man's head, especially when pride keeps him from speaking. So the silence becomes a cover, a mask. But behind it, he's loud. Loud with questions like, does she miss me? Is she seeing someone else? Does she already move on? He'll try to suppress it, act unaffected, but that silence tells the real story. You'll notice it in his body language when you see him. You'll feel it in the awkward tension when paths cross. You'll sense it in how he avoids you, not because he doesn't care, but because seeing you reminds him of everything he's trying to hide. That silence, it's not the end of feeling. It's the result of feeling too much and not knowing how to say a single word about it.